2020 Democrats set to take the stage in the second round of debates starting tomorrow, and already several candidates are rolling out policy proposals to give them a boost on the stage. Today we're breaking down the ideas of two contenders, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who take the stage on Wednesday. Here with details, we've got Rachel Bovard. She is the policy director for the Conservative Partnership Institute. Rachel, good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right. So really, some of these policy ideas that they are coming out with are to shield them against what could be said on the debate stage over the next couple of nights, right?
Yeah, that's right. Particularly Joe Biden is going to have to apologize for the sin of being in the world too long. So a lot of his policies are going to be designed to preemptively combat those criticisms.
In particular, he was involved in the 1994 crime bill, which he has taken a lot of heat for. And so now he's come out with a criminal justice plan that would, among other things, we've got him over on the big board, reduce incarceration, eliminate the death penalty and mandatory minimum sentencing, and eliminate discrepancies in sentencing between powder and crack cocaine, as well as end cash bail. So he's putting that out there so he doesn't have another awkward moment as he did last time with Kamala Harris, right?
Yeah, and what I think is really interesting about his plan and some of the details is that he is going to have to try hard to distinguish himself from what President Trump is already doing. Recall that last year, at the end of last year, President Trump and Congress signed a criminal justice reform bill. And some of the provisions in Joe's bill, in particular, reducing or eliminating long sentences for nonviolent drug offenders, right. President Trump is literally already doing this. So how is he going to distinguish himself from the policies that the president's already implementing? They don't call him Sleepy Joe for nothing, so he's going to have to come up with some new answers.
Well, one of the other things that will make him unique on the debate floor is the fact that most of the people there are for Medicaid for all, whereas he has to support the Affordable Care Act because that's part of his legacy.
Yeah, that's right. And you're really seeing him double down on this. His health care bill, or his health care proposal, really goes after Obamacare. All it does is expand these policies that we know are failing. 1.4 million people have lost their health insurance since 2016. Joe Biden's answer is to say, hey, let's do more of this. When a car is already driving off a cliff, it's not the best policy idea to keep pushing it. And that's sort of where Joe Biden finds himself on health care.
Meanwhile, Kamala Harris has come out with the Water Justice Act. She was in Michigan for the NAACP convention last week, I do believe. And of course, it's not too far from Flint, Michigan, where they've had terrible water problems in the past. So she's talking about investing a lot of water money into clean and safe drinking water programs, a priority given to high-risk communities like Flint, drinking water infrastructure emergency, and $50 billion toward communities and schools where water is contaminated. That all sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
It does, but I would point out that all these programs existed before the Flint water crisis. None of them prevented what happened, and we know why now. We know that all of this was because of gross incompetence at the city and the state level. The task force charged with investigating this put the blame squarely on water officials at the state level, the governor's office, and the city. So how are these programs going to actually solve anything when they couldn't solve it in the first place? Classic Democrat tactic. Throwing more money at programs that we know have failed.
Okay, so these are some of the policies that they're hoping will shield them from criticism. But at the same time, they've got to say something on the debate stage, all of them, to stand out. Because the morning after the debate, that's when, the race to the next debate goes and who's going to wind up with the most buzz this time, as Kamala Harris did last time.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the raise your hand moments. I think that's really where we start to see just how far to the left this Democrat Party has swung. If you recall, the last time around, it was for open borders. Every single one of them raised their hands. Who wants to eliminate private medical insurance, which goes even further than systems in Canada and the United Kingdom? We saw a lot of hands raised for that, including Kamala Harris, who then tried to walk it back the next day.
That's right. Can I see the hands of people who would like Rachel to join us again tomorrow? Well, you're gonna, because you're gonna profile more candidates, in particular Beto O'Rourke and Elizabeth Warren. So we'll see you then. All right.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rachel.